Hey everybody, welcome to my suburban oasis. My name is Soleil and I garden in a zone 6A in mid-Michigan. We used to be a 5B until they reclassified us recently. Anyhow, it's a beautiful evening. It is in the 60s today and it was nice and sunny after we had an overnight frost. But everything has done really well, so we have lots of foliage, we have lots of buds, and we have lots of growth since last week. So I'm really looking forward to taking you guys through the garden and checking it out together. All right, I know that my neighbors are doing some power washing right now, and I'm hoping that noise in the background is not too loud because I do try to make these tours as peaceful as possible. All right, let's get started. So over in the Protégé garden today, we're seeing lots of beautiful things happen. It's just gorgeous. I'm enjoying the hydrangea growing along the pathway, and we're seeing the irises all the way in full foliage, and we're just starting to see some tips of color on the irises. So they haven't started opening completely yet, but I think within the next couple of days we're going to, because we're going to be seeing some warmer weather here shortly. We're going to be getting up into the 70s and even the 80s, so it's kind of crazy how quickly the temperatures can change here. But everything's doing really well. We got lots of rain this week, so I wasn't really able to get out in the garden. Still recovering from my cold as well. So not a lot of garden projects, just kind of finishing up as much of the mulch as I could get done this week. And we're getting there. We are almost done. I just have to do some of this side of the garden along the shed side. Haven't gotten to that yet, but I got the rest of the front done for the most part, and I'm really happy about that. So the half moon garden is looking really pretty right now. Just going to take you over to look at it now that the Tian Shen 7 Sun trees are leafed out, and I think call them trees at this point rather than shrubs because they are looking rather good and definitely have taken on that tree form really well. And the privet hedges are giving a really nice, lovely, light vibe to this. Hopefully you'll be able to hear my fountain at some point as well because my fountain has been turned on now. So we'll be walking by there. Along in this garden, what's new? We have the dianthus coming up right now. So all along the front edge here, I have dianthus planted, and we see that coming up real strong right now. It's in bud form, and it's a really beautiful, I think it is pink. It is actually called Telstar Purple, and I'll show you kind of one of them is open down here. So that's the color that they will all be, and it's very striking when they all start to bloom. So probably by next week we'll have those coming into bloom for you to show and share. The coral berry bushes are looking really nice. The foliage has come out on those as well, and they're pushing lots of new growth. The geraniums in front of them are quite robust and doing incredibly well, and they almost look like two little shrubs on either side of the shed here, so I think that looks rather cute. And the phlox are also doing really well. That's what's alongside both sides of the door here. So those are going to bloom probably by the end of May. Usually we see that in late May that the phlox start to bloom. They're the opening act phlox by Proven Winners. We have some gorgeous color with the foliage along here, along with the hydrangea, and the blossoms still blooming from the lungwort. So this is a really lovely border right now to take a look at with all of the color, starting with the Boom Chocolate geranium over here. And the strawberry sundae is really pushing its new growth, and that is a paniculata hydrangea. That one's finally starting to put on a little bit of height, hopefully a little more this year. And the Amber Jubilee 9-bark is just glowing lovely in this late evening light next to the Purple Leaf Thundercloud Plum. Excuse me, the Purple Leaf Thundercloud Plum. Boy, I say that 10 times in a row. That's a tongue twister. And this is the beautiful hydrangea that we have in bloom right now. The hellebores are going over, but their new foliage is coming out, and this is one of the garden beds that I have yet to mulch. Not a ton of open space in here. Lots of leaf mulch from last fall put down in here, so it's helping to keep back the weeds and that kind of thing. But I do want to come through with some mulch and take care of that. And just look at the lovely shadows coming through the fence here. One of the delights that I get from having this new fence. The 9-bark over here is really leafed out now. I believe this one is the fireside 9-bark. Not quite as dark because it doesn't get as much sun as some of the others in the garden, but really a lovely, lovely plant. Very nice arching habit, and it's going to have some lovely blooms coming up soon. And again, the lungwort still continues to bloom. It's definitely past its prime at this point. And with the hot weather that we have coming, it's definitely going to go over. So I'm enjoying these last bits of spring blooms, including the bleeding hearts as we have them. But take a look at the hostas coming up now. We have some really nice big hostas back here that have pucker on the leaves. The rabbits have taken some nibbles on them, so we'll have to see. You know, we may have to trim a few leaves off here and there. But overall, I think they still look pretty good. This pathway is a delight to enter with all of the beautiful spring blooms right now. The Penny's pink hellebore, still blooming. Lovely combination here between the hearts, the lungwort, and the hellebore. And I just love this combination too. I wasn't expecting it to be quite such a contrast and so beautiful, but the Scarlet O'Hara Pieris alongside the Spot-on Pulmonaria, how beautiful is that together? What a nice combo. Sometimes unexpected things happen in the garden that you get to enjoy. And then as we come around, you can really see the changes that are taking place with all of the foliage because of all of the new growth on the hostas coming into the garden here. The brunneras are still blooming here in front of this, and once they're done blooming, this is where I need to come through and dig them out, because this is right in front of a gate here. But aren't they beautiful? Still stunning with their light blue flowers. And this garden bed is also something to behold with all of the flowers right now too. All of the lungwort still blooming. And while the hellebores have gone over and their foliage is coming up, the flowers are still beautiful right now. Very soon though, we'll need to come through and trim those flowers out to make way for that foliage. We have the beautiful variegated Solomon seal right now flowering. And believe it or not, we have mosquitoes. So you might see some of those fly by the camera as well, just making guest appearances. We have our witch hazel right here that has leafed out. Beautiful, almost blue, green-blue leaves. And the Japanese maple is really leafing out as well. My husband just mowed and edged. Doesn't that look great? He does such a great job taking care of the lawn for us. Some of you have asked about our lawn care routine and if he could come on and talk about it, but we actually have a service that does the fertilization and all of that. So he does all of the mowing though, and all of the trimming and blowing and that kind of thing to keep it well maintained. Just kind of taking a look around here so you can see it from different perspectives, because there's really so much to look at right now. The heuchera have really come in over here and filled out along this border, and I think that looks great. And our jet stream hydrangea is really filling in as well. The Pinky Winky hydrangea standard here is a little bit behind. These bloom late, so I think it's just kind of filling in a little bit late. This doesn't get full sun, it gets probably part sun. So, but I see lots of green buds on the stem, so it's just a little bit slow in coming. And I just want to point out that while my rhododendrons looked horrible after this winter and had lots of brown leaves on them, they are pushing out some wonderful new growth, and I'm actually seeing the blooms start to open up. So we're going to be seeing those probably this week as well. And I'm just thrilled to see that, because you know, you can give up on a plant really easily, but just look at that nice new growth. We're going to get all of that pushing out all of the dead, and hopefully these will be green in no time. We have our striptease hostas that are coming out now next to our pink fizz tiarellas and our Japanese ferns. This border really starting to come to life here. As the bunny hops across the path. I don't know if you saw that. And the spot-on pulmonaria is still blooming. So this one has been going for several weeks now. Highly recommend that one. Has not gotten any powdery mildew in my garden so far, but I've only had it for a year and a half, so we'll see how it does this year. The trillium is in bloom, you guys. Isn't that beautiful? I do wish I could have a few more, but I'm just happy that it has managed to stick around in my garden. And the maidenhair fern back behind it starting to really flush out. Again, the garden just looks almost like an entirely different garden this week than it did last week. I'm getting new growth on my little dwarf Scots pine over here, so that's great to know. I was waiting to see if I would get candles on it this year, and sure enough, they're probably about 1 inch each. So it's going to put on about 1 inch of growth this year, which will make it even easier to see from the indoors during the winter. And this bed, the golden edger hosta along the edge, has really filled in, and we see our stairway to heaven, or what is this? This is not stairway to heaven, it's heaven sent. Heaven sent polemonium. It's in bloom now. Isn't that pretty? It's such a pretty color with the lamium that's next to it, the pink and the purples. And the boxwoods are looking really healthy, and they're putting on new growth right now. So probably need to trim them before we hit the heat of summer. And the hostas, just look at that. Last week they were just coming out, and now this week they are almost full. It's amazing what a difference a week can make in the garden, even sometimes a day, but for the purposes of our tours, it sure does change how things look. Lots of new growth on our PRS, so these are nice and healthy, and I'm thrilled with that, because again, it gives it a little bit more height. Every year we get a little more height on them, hopefully nice and up over these macrorhizum geraniums so that they don't get drowned in them. And again, adding to the vertical interest in the garden and the winter interest as well. So yeah, pretty stoked about that. And the weeping spruce is pushing out its new growth. Beautiful fuchsia tips. Fuchsia. My goodness, you guys. Chartreuse. That's the word I was going for. Totally different word. More bleeding heart. This bleeding heart got really large this year, and it's gorgeous. Now these will almost be ephemeral here in Michigan. They will almost die back in the summer. I actually do cut them back once they start to yellow a bit. And I did kind of do a little bit of trimming on the spent blooms on these pieris. So you can see the new growth has kind of a red tint to it, red or orange tint to it. And these will fill in and turn green. And again, just provide that little bit more substance. And I may have to come in and clean up some of the geraniums that are coming in around it. I don't want them to get smothered or anything. Lots of new growth on this variegated boxwood, which is great because it didn't get very much the last couple of years. So I'm hoping this year it really takes off. It hasn't been in the spot for that long. This will be its third year, which is fairly typical for the time frame of getting rooted in and really starting to take off. So yeah, everything's looking really nice in the woodland garden. Just growing like gangbusters. Over here I have a little lime hydrangea that is pushing its growth real nice. And look how much bigger the lilies have gotten, the daylilies this week. They're probably about a foot tall now. Just really great to see. You can see the fountain down at the end there. Back between the Japanese maple. Our redbud is just about at the end of its cycle, pushing out some nice heart-shaped leaves that are very glossy, beautiful, going to provide a little bit of shade to this area of the garden during the midday, hopefully. And this part of the garden faces west. So as you can see, it's usually one of the last areas of the garden to be lit up with the sunshine. We have the Toscano barberry behind our weeping false cypress. And the flower heads of the chives are starting to pop open. I thought they would be open this week, but again, we got hit with lots of rain, and then this frost this week kind of slowed things down. So check out the snowball bush. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it's not quite in full bloom again because things got slowed down, but just look at it. The frost did nothing to harm those blooms, nothing. They're so intricate and just covering every inch of this plant, this tree. Very limey right now. It's beautiful. And the limoncello barberries beneath it glowing in the sunlight. Oh, let's take a look at the azalea over here too, by the fountain, because it is in bloom. Don't want to miss that. Just started blooming this week. I can get my shadow out of the way, maybe. Maybe not. Okay, I'm gonna stand the other way. Let's try this again. There we go. Isn't that azalea lovely? Just stunning. Few blooms yet to open. Our spireas are full. Just looking incredible and bushy. And they are putting on their buds. You can see at the tips of every one of the branches is a beautiful bud waiting to explode. I did do a trim up on the topiaries Just kind of tidied them up a little bit so that they were nice and tight. And I think they turned out really good. A lot of you did comment that you have the leaf tier or the leaf tire worms in your smooth hydrangeas as well that I showed last week. Sorry to hear that. There's really not a great solution for it other than opening the leaves and crushing the caterpillar or pulling the leaves off and throwing them in the trash. We have some flax over here amongst the ajuga, which is in full bloom. I have some of it creeping out of my rock border, so I'm going to have to dig some of that up and just tuck it back in to places that I want it. The salvia is budding up. Everything's looking just so healthy right now. It's great to see. I love it. The Japanese maple over here looks great. We are getting some growth on the rave hydrangea that is down here. A little bit hard to see amongst the snowy woodruff here, or the sweet woodruff. And we have some wee hostas tucked in here as well. But that rave hydrangea, that one should be coming up, and that is a large leaf hydrangea that should bloom on new wood. All right, let's take a look out in the front garden. So coming out here to check on the snowball bush, this one is a little bit further along than the one in the back garden. This one faces east and is against a brick wall, so it does get some more heat and a little bit more protection from our western winds. But yeah, you can see those are just pushing out. Aren't they gorgeous? So pretty. Thrilled to see it. I am going to need to keep trimming this one because it will probably try to get much more robust than it needs to for this area. So I'll have to keep trimming it to keep it down below the roof line. But it's a nice little tree form as well, and it turned out great, I think, so far. You can see how much taller our fiddlehead ferns are. These are the royal ferns. They are almost all the way tall and open. We have some blooms open on this azalea here. Such a beautiful color. I love the color of this one. I wish it had more blooms, but the deer tend to eat this one because it's out in the front here. Okay, well, we are looking to the east right now. So again, this border is being lit up by the sun that is setting in the west. And it just looks great right now. Everything just looks really healthy. And we have some blue blooms on the ground here, which I always forget what it is. I think it's Lithonia or something like that. And then some chives that are starting to open up. And our Maynite salvia and all of our salvias in this garden bed are nice and high. They're probably 12 inches high and putting on their buds. So we'll be getting some blooms out of those really soon too, which is so exciting. Going to be seeing some peonies soon, as well as the dianthus that we have in the front of this garden bed, which I do see the dandelion there. That's going to have to go away. I didn't get the last grass out of this garden bed yet. I got to pull that, but it will be done. And then I'll have to decide what I want to put in this garden bed because I'll have a little bit of empty space from removing those as well as the viburnum. Just look how bright the spirea is now. Such a lemony color. think this one is called Sunjoy. It might be Sunspot Spirea. And this black lace elderberry has some blooms that are budding up right here. Quite a few of them. So those should be coming soon as well. Those are really pretty light pink color, and they contrast really well with the foliage, so they're really easy to see. Super nice. My husband did an amazing job kind of redoing this rock bed out here. It had sunken down quite a bit, so he got quite a few more rocks from a neighbor who was giving them away, another Facebook marketplace find, and just went and picked them up and redid it so it looks really, really nice again. If you are thinking about doing rocks in your landscape, just remember that things do seed themselves into the rocks cracks, so it does require some maintenance. It's not as maintenance free as it might look. Boy, from the sun it's really hard to get a good picture from this side, so let's walk around this garden bed and look at it from the other side, because it really is looking great, really healthy. Oh, you can see some of the ferns that are coming up now from this side underneath of the cherry. So we've got ferns all in here, and some hostas, and some echinacea or purple coneflower, and then some sedum along the edge. And as you can see, our grass is finally starting to fill in. Things are greening up really, really well. Not so much barren or muddy anymore, thankfully, but pretty well growing in. And we do have some more seed for, spots that might be a little patchy, like this particular one right here. But everything's really finally looking a lot better than it was. Okay, so looking at it from this angle, you can see our wabi-sabi viburnum covered in bloom buds. Now, I thought this one would be opening a little bit more this week, but it looks like next week will be the show for that one as well. Pretty much on the same schedule as the other viburnums, it seems. And our alliums are just starting to open. The purple sensation right here. We have all these pretty little heads that are about to open up and pop. And then we have the Allium carativiense that have opened up. We'll show you some of those. That's these with the beautiful blue foliage. Very wide strapping foliage with that nice almost red, pink almost red bloom. And our jet stream hydrangea up above that, which is finally starting to leaf out. It's definitely a little behind all of the other ones that I have in the garden. I think we might have lost a few branches, but we'll see. We're going to give it some more time yet. It's still early. The birds sure are happy right now. They are really enjoying the fountain being on and taking bird baths in it. And you can just hear them singing. We have some new buds poking up on these irises here. We have His Majesty, and I think the other one is travertine. I'm gonna have to remember what it's called. It's a pink bloom, and they are rebloomers. And again, along this whole border, I have small patches of the purple telstar dianthus, which is budding up and going to bloom soon too. So that's gonna be great. And let's just take a look at the front garden bed here, because it's changing as the hostas come out up here, and we're having a lot of new foliage happen. So we have some June hostas in here, some purple plum pudding heucheras, some of those golden edger hostas towards the front of the garden bed. And just look at how much foliage on the hellebores is coming out now. So much more. And again, through here, I'm hoping that I don't have to worry about this being smothered by the large root geranium that's in here, but I might. So I'm gonna kind of check on it and see if I need to pull it, because I don't want to lose that hellebore. I just love the foliage on those hellebores, and they're a little too expensive to lose to the large root geranium, which is very easy to propagate. I think you can just see how much is changing in here. Our Fothergillas are still blooming and looking great. I mean, look at that Mount Airy Fothergilla. That one has just bloomed prolifically this year. I can't wait until that one gets bigger. The blue shadow Fothergillas over here, they look healthy, but only 2 blooms. Not sure exactly why, but maybe next year there'll be more blooms on those. I don't know. They are known for their blue foliage, and that's the most important part for them. So they are not known necessarily for a ton of blooms. So looking over at our weeping crabapple bed, this one's looking really, really nice too, really healthy. We have our bedazzled hostas at the base of it. So much bigger, and our catchflies are still blooming despite the frost. So that's nice. The Gatsby Moon hydrangea is showing lots of new growth from the base, which is interesting. I do want to dig this one up and move it. And hopefully I will get that done this weekend. Not sure if I will or not, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, you guys, that I can get some more work in the garden done this weekend. You can see we have some dianthus here. This is the Panthatown Magenta variety, I believe. And then we have more of the Telstar Purple variety here that's going to bloom. And so we've kind of dotted that Telstar Purple throughout the garden for that kind of comprehensive look or cohesive look of having a similar flower throughout the gardens to tie it all together. I try to do that as much as I can. If you have oak leaf hydrangeas, they don't have to be the exact same species. They can be different varieties of oak leaf hydrangeas. And they can still look like cohesive because of the fact that they're the same type of plant. More striptease hostas coming up in the geraniums, which are taller than normal this year. And they are getting ready to bloom as well. We'll see some beautiful little pink blooms on those probably in the next couple of days starting to come out. Weigela right here. And still no sign of buds on this viburnum. I'm wondering if it just doesn't get enough sun in this spot, or maybe it just hasn't been here for long enough. So this is its second full year. So we'll see what happens next year. And this is the one spot I haven't done cleanup on yet still. So got to get to it eventually. Got to get to it. Again, hopefully this weekend I'll have some time because it's nice. It's supposed to be nice weather. And it's Mother's Day this weekend. So happy Mother's Day for those of you who take care of someone or who are a mother yourself or have been mothered. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and can celebrate in some way, shape, or form. Thank you so much for joining me today on this garden tour. I've enjoyed showing you and sharing with you what's going on in the garden. And we'll see you next time.